Ooh, oh.
Hi, Corkies.
Hi, Corkies. Hey, so it is season five,
Five.
the big five. Oh my gosh, we've been doing this for 5 seasons. Does it feel like five?
Yes and no.
Yes, and why no? I always gotta go for the no first.
I feel like no because it feels like it's been less. Like, like it feels like it's been a long time, but then like not really. Like at the same time, like time has just kind of been acting weird.
You know what? I'm here for that. I'm here for that. Speaking of weird, season five, we have decided to do a season of hot topics, right?
Yes,
Yes. I'm so excited about this season.
I
When you
know.
when you said hot topics, I was like, yes, I'm
Yes.
here for it. I'm here for
And
it.
you guys get a season of just us talking. I know it's been a lot of guest speakers, and they're kind of going back to how things, used to be for this season. Just hearing from me and Heather.
Yes. So back to the basics and hot topics. So I'm here for it. Ariel's here for it. It's been so long. It feels so good to be back talking, chatting. And so hopefully we will never be gone that long ever again. And we will be here. And so tonight or today, afternoon, whenever you are listening to us, we are going to be talking about dun, 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 dun. What are we calling this hot topic?
I would call it like the cheesecake scandal or like the cheesecake situation
Debacle, scandal.
debacle.
Um,
Yeah.
cheese. What was the thing called?
Cheesegate.
You read my mind. That's exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, yes. So that's what we're gonna call it.
You heard it
Cheesecake.
here first.
Yes. Hopefully we are the first one people to say it, but
Right.
you hear first. Um, and so of course we are mental health on cork, and we are going to try our best to put a mental health spin on it.
Hmm.
Um, we're gonna try. But as you probably know, we are human,
Hmm.
we are female, and we have some thoughts.
Yes. Many thoughts about the
Many
situation.
thoughts. Many thoughts. All right. So for the people who probably are living under a rock, and I feel like it's okay for me to say living under a rock, because if I know about this and I live under a rock now, um, and no one, if there is someone who doesn't know about this, they truly are living under a rock because I even know about this.
Right.
Right. We
Mhm.
probably need to bring some people under up to speed. So there was a woman. Said woman thought that it would be a good idea to go on social media. I don't even know what platform she went on. Do we know?
I don't know. I think maybe like TikTok or Instagram. I think it was like a live. Like I can't really tell.
She went live out of all
I
things.
think it was
Okay.
like live because he was saying like, "Oh, I'll talk to them too" or something. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we can link a video to one of our platforms if
Yeah.
there's something still out there. Okay. So we'll try to link a video if there's something still out there, if they haven't shut it all down. Because if I was her, I would get me a lawyer and try to shut it down, get me a publicist because your life will be ruined forever. I don't know. Who knows? But said woman decided it would be a good idea to go live and try to put this man who she agreed to go on a date with on blast. She
Mhm.
wanted to put him on blast because he decided to take her to Cheesecake. Mind you, he was taking her to Cheesecake Factory after making reservations at a different restaurant. Do we know the original restaurant?
I don't know.
We don't know. Okay. But he had reservations, and we can just assume that it maybe was a different kind of restaurant since
Hmm.
he had to make reservations,
Hmm.
right? but they couldn't go to that restaurant because when he showed up, she was not ready. He had to wait approximately an hour or so for her to finish getting ready. By that time, they lost their reservation.
Hmm.
So, in order to still be able to take her out, he decided to take her to Cheesecake Factory. They're in the parking lot. He politely goes around, as a gentleman should, to open her car door, and thus when the live starts, because she catches a whole attitude because he's trying to take her to cheesecake.
Yes. And I'm not sure if I feel like it's unclear if like she knew she was going there after she was late or if like it's just like a surprise. Like maybe they just like he just drove her there and was like, "Oh, we're gonna go somewhere else now." And she was like shocked. I can't tell if like in the video she's like surprised that she's there or if she like I don't you know what I mean? Like I just don't know.
Yes, true. I watched that and I didn't know either because I was like, at what point did you know you were going to cheesecake and you didn't communicate that you didn't want to go and he could have turned the car around?
Right.
Um, so yeah, but everyone's going crazy because she felt like she was beneath cheesecake for several reasons, and the biggest reason was because of how she looks. She is too fine, too attractive, too amazing to be taken to Cheesecake Factory.
To a chain restaurant.
To thank you to a chain restaurant. And thus why we are here talking about this hot topic.
There's so much to unpack here. I think we should definitely cover like when is, self-confidence, self-worth, like when has that gone too far, right?
Yes,
Definitely it's okay to have self-confidence, self-worth, but then it's like her attitude was the worst of all, like it was so rude. Someone's taking you out to dinner for a nice evening and you act like that. It's just not okay.
absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's start off with, I'm sure our listeners, I mean, we're talking about this. So is it safe to say that you would be okay with going to cheesecake?
Yes.
First date? Out
Yes.
the gate. Okay, me too. Same,
So,
same.
disclaimer, my first date with my husband, I suggested we go to Chili's because I love Chili's. And he was like, "Are you sure? Like, let's go like this other place." And I was like, "Okay, that's fine too, but like I love Chili's, so I'll definitely go there." But I don't, it's like it's a restaurant. Like, don't be bougie about it.
I mean, we've talked candidly a lot about our love for garlic crabs. So, we're I think we both can agree we're not that bougie at all. Um, your girl loves her some Waffle House. So you could take me to Waffle
Yes, I mean,
Now, I wouldn't like that to be every single day. I would like for you to put
exactly.
some thought into it, but it's not the amount of money that you're spending in is what I care about.
Right.
It's thought behind the dates that I care about
Yes.
more than anything. So I think that's where he won in my book is even though we missed the first place, I'm still gonna figure out where we can still go
Hmm.
and have time, right? And if you think about the place that he chose, their menu has some of everything,
Hmm.
right? That menu is like overwhelming as all get out. And so, like, regardless of what her taste buds were like percolating for that evening or like what she likes or dislikes, she could have found something on that menu, right? Um, so she was just really on another level.
Hmm.
Um, one of the things you touched on already just out the gate was her behavior. And I think a lot of times people don't consider, regardless of how attractive you are, your behavior can make you look or appear unattractive.
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. People in the comments were coming for her looks, which is not okay, right? Like we don't want to bring someone down. But they were saying like, you think that you're all of this or all of that, but you have on like 2010 lipstick, like just different things like that I felt like weren't super appropriate, but also like you can't act like that and then expect like royal treatment. Like you have to be ready to get what you dished out.
Hmm.
And so,
I wonder, do you think there was a scenario in which her behavior could have been justified?
hmm, maybe if like he asked her opinion on where they should go eat and she suggested some other place and gave like maybe three other options and he chose to go there instead, maybe.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I can think of many other scenarios where like that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I'm like, I was trying so like desperately, like, okay, let me try to like put myself in their shoes and like figure out like why she would go through all of this, even to like put herself out there on social media. Because like you just mentioned, like at some point you have to realize like when you put yourself out there to a social media level, you have a severe lack of self-awareness, right? If you don't realize what's going to come from that,
Mm-hmm.
right? We're going to come after, and they're not going to be nice, especially behind them keyboard haters. They are going to come, right? And like you said, I saw people coming for her braids, coming for like her outfit. I'm like, how do y'all see her whole outfit? Like, did she get out the car and I missed that video? Like, how
Yeah.
did y'all know she had on? Like, it was crazy how people were coming for her.
Yeah.
And so I jokingly say, you need a lawyer or publicist or something, but I'm like, to have to go to work Monday morning after posting or whatever day after posting that, like I could just only imagine if you did have a healthy self-worth and confidence, what now experiencing the social media backlash has done to your confidence now.
That's true. That's really true. It could be still where it's at. She could be, still saying like, I meant what I said, right? Like, who knows what she's thinking? If you're that bold to put someone on blast, like, I'm sure like it takes a lot to break down your confidence. Like, she pretty much was trying to like embarrass him. Like, she
Mm-hmm.
kind of shamed him in public, and like, that's not cool either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, mental health wise, right? Is that true confidence or like are we borderlining on a state of like delusional?
Or compensation or something.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I would love to hear like if we have any other mental health providers out there, Corkies. Love
Mhm.
to hear from y'all's point of view of what you think kind of maybe going on if there is mental health or from maybe reading into it a little bit. But it just does not seem healthy to react in this type of way, right? Talk about like emotional IQ, and just being able to have some self-awareness, right? Because again, assuming this man does appear to seem like a gentleman to a certain extent, right?
Mhm.
Um, Even like the little small encounter, like you said, of him saying, "Hey, I don't mind, I can talk to them," like put himself out there, and I'm like, "Whoa, man, do you know?" But it worked in his favor, right? People didn't come after him; they were like, "Man, you should leave her," you know, make her get a Uber or whatever. But
Yeah,
um,
and like the fact that she still wants him to drive her home after she's been so nasty, like that says a lot. Isn't that not awkward? Like for her, maybe not, I guess, to sit in the car with him after you just like publicly shamed him.
mhm.
Like what did you want him to do? Like you weren't going to get out of the car, so you wanted him to do what? Like just take you somewhere.
Entitlement,
Yeah.
entitlement, right? So I mean, granted, I'm low key jealous because you are not out here in these dating raggedy streets. And I said I was gonna stop saying that because, if I keep putting it out there that the dating streets are raggedy, they, it might manifest itself that they stay raggedy and are raggedy. But just think about it. If you treated your now husband like that, you
Mhm.
know, would you have a husband if you conducted yourself in that manner?
Probably not.
Yeah. Like is that conducive to if she's on a date, let's say she's on a date looking for a husband, right? Is
Hmm.
that conducive behavior to actually trying to find a husband?
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that many men would tolerate that behavior and attitude. Like that's just giving off many red flags to come.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I
I
don't know.
also, on the other coin, I wonder like if she looked differently, would people still come for her, right? Like her
Mm.
like because of like what she had on or her hair or like whatever, her makeup, but it's like if she looked a certain way, would people still come after her? If she looked like Megan Good, I don't know, someone who like people love or like Nia Long or whoever, right? Like would they still come after her in that same way?
Like if, why'd you go there? Why?
Because I
Nah.
think socially, it's like I think about like how people view others, like
Mhm.
that's a big piece of it. Like some behaviors may be deemed okay or like looked over at people who may look a certain way, or you know what I mean? Like sometimes they don't get the same kind of backlash as people who look other kinds
Uh,
of ways.
so are we there as a society where we are giving certain people passes as far as our societal norms or expectations based on people's appearances? The prettier you are, the less we have as far as expectations of your behavior.
Well, there's like a term, pretty privilege is really a well-known term. And it's like not saying that gives you like a pass for poor behavior, but people who are prettier or viewed as prettier in society get away with like a lot more than people who aren't. And that's just like a privilege that people who are viewed as prettier have. Um,
So what kind of stuff can these pretty people get away with?
have you heard of pretty privilege?
No, I guess I'm not pretty enough to have the privilege.
So the whole concept is like people who have pretty privilege, like may get like if you're at the coffee shop, like someone may buy you a coffee
I buy my own coffee.
or like I'm trying to think of an example, but like you if you're at a club with your friends or something, like maybe you and your friends will get in versus like another group of girls. You know what I mean? Like you
Oh,
have like different accommodations given to you because people see you as more attractive. Like, um, you know, maybe you don't have the best attitude, but a guy will go on more dates with you than he would with someone else because he's tolerating it more because of like your prettiness in quotes. So there's just like different things that people who are prettier, perceived as prettier, get than people who are not perceived as pretty, unfortunately.
that's sad.
Mm-hmm.
You just over here. I'm mind blown emoji now.
It's been around for a while. Corkies, if y'all have heard this term, please talk
Yeah,
about it in the comments.
yeah. I'm in that rock. I'm under the
Yeah.
rock.
No, I'm like, is it a real thing? I'm like questioning myself.
I mean, of course, the pretty person knows about it.
You're also pretty. Don't even.
I mean, there's levels to this prettiness. So, I mean, okay. So I got so many questions now. Now I feel like I'm gonna be interviewing you, asking you questions. Um,
Okay. So I'm going to actually, I just Googled the definition of pretty privilege so we can
is
provide
it
that.
an Urban Dictionary thing or it's like a thing?
It's on Wikipedia, it looks like.
Oh, that means it's real.
So yes, I see like a Glamour UK article about pretty privilege is real. Let's talk about it. So anyway, so Wikipedia, it's not necessarily like super accurate at all times, by the way, disclaimer. But Wikipedia says body privilege or pretty privilege is a concept used to examine the economic, social, and political advantages or benefits that are made to both men and women solely based on their physical appearance. A common example of the ideal body type set by Western standards is tall, thin, and muscular.
Mm.
Just an example.
Mm. Mm.
Maybe people that have like clearer skin may get more pretty privilege, or people that
Mm.
have like big, almond eyes or something, so there's definitely different characteristics of like what people in Western world consider as like pretty, traits or attributes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so going back to your statement that had this been possibly someone else, this might not even be a hot topic in the way that we are talking about it.
I truly believe that it's a possibility. I mean, the way people came after her appearance is really
Mhm.
telling.
Mm.
Like, why come after her appearance if it's all about her attitude?
Facts. Because then we should be only focused on her negative attitude. The
Mm-hmm.
social media monsters should only be focused and chastising her only for her attitude and not. But is that part of just human nature that we can't stay focused on what we're supposed to be focused on? We have to go for, the outside things, or no?
Maybe. And she did bring up like how she looked as one thing. So that is a good point. That maybe people are attacking how she said she looked. But that wasn't really what it was about. It was about the fact that he bought her cheesecake and she didn't want to go inside and she acted nasty about it. Like that was kind of like I think the main thing to focus on. And maybe like we can't focus on one thing as a society,
Mm.
but
Do you think he was doing that to her as far as the pretty privilege? Like if he valued her more, he would have took her somewhere else? Or that wasn't a factor?
no, because I think he had like a good place the first time, but like they just
Already.
couldn't
Okay.
go
Uh-huh.
because she was late. And that's also like a respect thing. Like, why are you running like an hour behind for a scheduled date? Like, I know a few people, I'm not gonna name their names, who have like men who have said like if a girl is like 15, 20 minutes late with no good excuse, like that's the end of the day for me. I
Mm.
was surprised when they said that because like I run late sometimes, right? Like not an hour, but like I
Yeah.
think of it as like the guy did, spend their time like planning a nice date for you, and like the fact that you can't be on time is kind of telling, like if you're that far behind and like you miss reservations because you're that far
Mhm.
behind, like that's a big deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Especially the first time, right? This is your very, you want to make a good first impression.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can definitely see that being the case. Um, there's so much to unpack. Uh, I wonder if she considered, I don't want to say this. I wonder if she considered, because I remember I watched one version of the video and he was like, can we talk about this? And she was like, yeah, we got plenty to talk about. And like had him come around and I was like, why now? Like
Mhm.
why now? Like in communication, like in all of that. It's just I would like to know like how old she is. Like
Mhm.
I'm always interested in like people's ages and like why are we still cutting up acting the fool at certain ages. But when you mentioned earlier when you were talking about the pretty privilege, which I'm like gonna be doing a deep dive in now, but I wonder if it sometimes works to a disadvantage um when there's someone who does not value themselves as much and does not think that they're self as handsome or pretty, but they are with someone or could potentially be with someone who is handsome or pretty, but then they don't put in effort.
Mm, yeah, I could see that.
Because then it's like, why bother? Because a nicer, handsome, prettier person is going to come along anyways.
But I wonder why they're with them in the first place. Like, why are you with them if you're just waiting for like the next best thing?
Yeah. Because it seems like if she thought herself so high, right? Did she really think that he was on her level in the first place? Or was he just a placeholder? And
Right.
that's why she was willing to treat him like she did. Like, did she ever really truly respect him in the first place? Or was he just kind of like how a lot of women do, a free meal or an outing or because I'm bored or, whatever? Like, did she truly ever really respect him on a certain level?
And like, if that's the case, then she would be happy with the meal at Cheesecake.
You think?
Get a meal and move on.
I don't know, because I still feel like sometimes, and I'm just gonna put myself out there, like even for the people that I was, they were placeholders. I still had expectation about my stuff though.
Yeah.
Like I don't want you, and I want my free meal, but
But people who like, some people though who like go on dates just for like the money aspect or just to get a meal, some of them don't care. They just be like, okay, I want to just eat. Let's go out. I'll get dressed up and then take me home. Like, you know what I mean? Like they don't, sometimes placeholder people, I don't want to call them placeholders, but sometimes placeholders can become like real potential people, right?
true,
And
because
so
you
you're
might
kind
end
of
up
like,
like actually enjoying yourself. Like, oh man, I had a good time. Like this
right.
person actually really is cool. You're
But
you're right.
some women take people on date or go on dates with people who they don't see any future with. They're literally just doing it for the meal. And in that
Yeah,
case, they don't care, I
where
think.
the
I don't know.
so you never been bad. Uh,
No, if I go out with someone, like I like them. I'm not just gonna waste your time or my time or your money. You know what I mean? Like
no, I don't know what you mean.
it's not respectful to like go out with someone and like waste their time if you don't really like them.
Well, how do you know if you like them or not if you haven't been around them? You got to go out with them first.
Because a lot of people you can weed out by just texting with them. Like you know if like you're in a vibe or not.
Some people don't show they're crazy till later on. Some people withhold their crazy.
Yeah, that's a whole nother story though. Like this is just getting on the first date.
There's some people that really let that crazy out that first or second date. Sometimes people hold that crazy in till date 4 or 5, and then you're like, whoa, where did this crazy come from? I know someone who swears up and down that somebody withheld their crazy in for 6 months. I don't buy it, but they're sticking to their guns that
They
this person
yeah,
has.
they just didn't see the red flags. Like that was their fault for choosing not to see like little red flags for 6 months.
That's their story, and they're sticking to it. They're sticking to it. But I agree with you. They just didn't see it, right? Because they're blinded by other things. Okay. All right. So what do you think the moral of the story is?
Well, before we get to that though, I do want to say one more thing.
Okay.
We talked about the chain restaurant thing,
Oh,
right?
you were she's serious about this chain, y'all.
Well, because like if you could, what do you consider a chain restaurant? Like you can go to a five-star chain restaurant, right?
Oh, yes. Anything that is not one is a chain. That's my rule of thumb.
So the
If I
fact that, yeah.
That's the rule.
So the fact that she was like, he's taking to like a chain restaurant and like I'm at this chain. It was like all about being at a chain. It wasn't even like the fact that it was like cheesecake. It was like I'm at a chain restaurant. I feel like that's what she was like mostly like bent up about, like looking like this at a chain restaurant, right? But you can go to like Ocean Prime or like Mastro's or like Morton's, like Del Frisco's. Those are all like chain restaurants, right? So what is it really about?
I don't know. I don't know. You're talking to a Waffle House chick. I don't I Here's the thing. I love the question you just asked. What is it really about? Because it was not and I don't care what anyone says, right? This is the true counselor, mental health person in me, right? None of this had anything to do with Cheesecake Factory.
Mm-hmm.
None of it. I would even dare say none of this had anything to do with this man. This is her. There was something going on. The fact that she was an hour late, right? She was not prepared to go on this date with this man who she agreed to go on, right? She
Mm-hmm.
was not ready at whatever time they agreed to walk out the door. This is all her. All confidence, all me, and
Mm-hmm.
something else going on with her outside of the man and outside of Cheesecake Factory.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
100%. Like something else. Like, yeah.
Yeah. And all she did was give Cheesecake free publicity.
And
Because all I
cheesecake,
want is some cheesecake.
it's good. Like they have good happy hour. Like their happy hour food is like so good. Like, I'm a foodie and like I haven't been there in a while, but now I'm like, I want to go back to cheesecake and get their
That's what
happy hour.
I'm saying. I know somebody that's on my social media right now, her and her boo, what they went to Cheesecake for a date this weekend. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm mad because I'm over here and there's no cheesecake in sight. I can't go if I wanted to. And I do want to. So yeah, all she did was give them free publicity.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other restaurants that people were naming in the comments, Wendy's, go take her to go get a four for $4. Like they was just
I mean, I think cheesecake is like, it's not like, do they have like white tablecloths? I don't think so, right? It's not like a super fancy restaurant, but like they have really nice, like, like a setup inside. Like it's not like you're at like,
it's a whole ambiance.
it's a whole ambiance. Like there's low lighting, like it's actually
Mhm.
nice. Like some people argue that the menu is too vast, which could be true. It's a huge, there's like 20 pages on that menu. But
Mhm.
if you find something that you like there, like it is worth going.
Yeah, yeah. Like we went, oh my gosh, my grandmother had came into town was it last year? Get my years mixed up. I think it was last year. And we had all went and like we got these raspberry lemon drops and
Mhm.
then my mom got like their clam chowder soup and like after that and my mom's not a big like drinker or whatever, but after that she was like we're gonna go get a lemon drop. We're gonna go get some soup. But the thing was, they only did the soup on a certain day. So like we showed up just casually one day and they didn't have it. So it was like,
Oh,
oh, I liked it because then it kind of made it even more like special because then you have to like plan for it and say, okay, we're gonna go on this day at this time or whatever. So it was a thing. And it's not like they're like on every corner like a McDonald's. Like I know specifically like where we're from, like there's only one in the city. So
mhm,
you have to like again not really plan for it, but it's like, okay, I'm gonna go and go over across town where
mhm.
it is, right? It's not like, oh, I just have a taste for cheesecake. I'm just jump in my car and go. Like you're going there. Um, and normally it's not just like I'm gonna walk in. It's always packed, it's always busy. Like I've never,
Always.
yeah, like so someone likes it.
Yes. And that's a good point because you kind of brought up how like in certain cities, like there's not like so many like nice restaurants, like so many options, right? Like where I live, there's like tons of like restaurant options where you don't have to go to like a quote unquote chain or like a common herd restaurant, like if you don't want to. But like some places that I don't know where they live at, but like there could have been like a few nice restaurants in town, but like he had the one reservation, but like they couldn't make it, so now they're going to Cheesecake. Like big whoop. Like some places just don't have like a vast majority variety of like white tablecloth restaurants.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, that's something else to consider. I would love to know where they're located at. Um, I mean, like if somebody wouldn't take me somewhere fancy, like that's gonna be interesting right now. Like where in the world we finna go?
Mhm.
Are we gonna go to the chops on base? Like, I don't know. I literally don't know,
Yeah.
right? And then I mean, when you talk about like you can find out people's crazy before they come, but like that's, I mean, before you even go on a date, that's a lot of talking to even determine like, okay, where can we eat, right? You gotta tell me like food allergies. Let's say somebody has a food allergy, you might knock out several of those nicer restaurants that
Mhm.
potentially open to you because this person can't eat that or this person doesn't like that,
Mhm.
right? I know someone who is allergic to fish.
Mhm.
The first thing I asked, I was like, what kind of fish?
I would die. I'd be like, what? Like I can't
Girl, honey, let's take a
eat.
pause for the cause.
Like we need
Now,
a moment of silence right now for seafood allergies. Like I would, oh my God,
you talking about a red flag?
that's a red flag.
I'm talking about I had to pray to sweet Lord Corky's, pray for Heather.
Pray for Heather. Hashtag pray for Heather.
That's gonna be a real hashtag one day. I just know it. Listen, this has nothing. This is about food, so it's still the same. Listen, when this person told me they were allergic to fish, I almost faked like my phone had dropped. But I said I'm doing better in my new life. So I just wanted to ask a couple of clarifying questions. So
Mhm.
maybe I said, maybe I missed because you know my connection bad. I said, maybe he said shellfish, which would be like shrimp and other items. Can you tell me that again? I think I missed what you said. Yeah, I'm allergic to fish. Okay, people a little rough around the edges. So maybe he doesn't know to tell me what type of fish. Okay, so what type of fish is that? I told you, fish. You mean to tell me you're allergic to every piece and every type of fish
Like
there
I
is?
told you twice.
I could not compute that God, I literally said, I don't believe that God made you that way. Here's my response. Pray
But
for me.
maybe it's better to be made that way rather than had a taste of it and now you can't have it anymore. Like what's worse?
Well, I mean, for him to know that he's allergic, he had a taste of it and had a reaction.
But like what if like some people like develop them like later in life? Like they had for 20 years they ate fish and then like all of a sudden
Did you imagine?
for like 16 years and then they became like a teenager and like then their body like rejected it, right? So it's like that happens to people with things and I would die. Oh.
Um, I couldn't think of nothing else worse than that on a food level.
On the food level for sure. Like
I mean, other things could happen in life, but on a food level, being able to eat something for a certain amount of time in life and then, oh, can't eat it no more.
mhm.
Yes, but to my point, I learned that. I don't know what conversation in, but now I know I can't go to certain restaurants are not gonna be fun.
Yeah. Like crafty, like
Girl,
get the bib on and the gloves and get all into the plastic bag.
can't invite you over to the family fish fry. What you gonna
Right.
do?
Yeah.
So my whole point, he probably felt limited.
So, what is the moral of the story here?
The moral for me is do your background checks.
Mm.
That's my moral. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Background check these mofos so
Mm.
you don't end up on Instagram live, Facebook live, or whatever live this man was on.
My moral is show gratitude because people
Oh,
don't have to take you out and pay for your food and spend time with you. Like, being grateful for people who choose to spend time with you and set up nice dates.
Can I add something to my well, it's not gonna be nice. And get people to sign a non-disclosure before you leave.
Before the date starts.
Before the house, yes.
Yeah,
I
because
need
I mean, honestly, having him on like you don't know what his job is, like it's just these days you can't just be putting people on blast.
a security clearance or
Yeah.
something. Okay. If I'm gonna go down, let me and my raggedy behind go down for whatever I did. Don't bring me down with
Now I know his face kind of like I remember his face in the video. Like not that I know him, but I'm like, you remember things. Like millions of people probably saw that video, like
millions.
and had a think piece on it. I mean,
Millions.
yeah.
No. Mm-mm. Won't catch me slipping. This yes, you're right. I love your nice. I will show gratitude. I will be a nice person because your girl is not. What is? I don't have pretty privilege, so I need to be nice to people out here in these streets.
You do have pretty privilege.
I might have some, but I ain't got enough to be out here acting a fool.
Yeah. I don't think
I
anyone can act with like seriously, like it's not okay.
I would love to know like how pretty you have to be to act a plum fool. I want to see that person.
You have to like be pretty and like known where people like don't care what you do. Like there's some celebrities that people don't care what they do. It's like, you know what I mean? Like they can probably be out here and
Beyonce.
like Beyonce, like if she like did that in a video, people would be like, yeah, like Queen B, like
Yeah, because I heard Beyonce pointed somebody out in the audience and said she wasn't no diva. I think it was an audience member. I said, who?
she said that in the tour.
Well, she was singing the diva song and then she pointed, in that part, she ain't no diva. And she pointed. I said, oof,
Oh.
I would have hated to be that person. I hope she just kind of just waved her hand, but they made it seem in the clip that she like actually,
But like say let someone else do that, they are gonna get it, right? But because it's Beyonce, I didn't even hear about it. It just went over.
because they
So
was like, and you know what? You're right. Because they said it was like Beyonce so smooth with it. She just casually said the chick wasn't no diva. Like she just casually said, you ain't no diva, and just kept it moving.
mhm.
That somebody else had did that.
They would never hear the end of it, you know?
So Beyonce's the only person that can say you're not a diva. That's the level.
Probably.
Let me do it.
Like she could probably do anything, and her beehive is like, back up, like you know what I mean?
Yeah. So Corkies, we need y'all to come for us, like, and have our back, like these beehive people be having Beyonce's back.
Yes.
Now, we're asking y'all to co-sign no foolishness. Call us out on our foolishness. We okay with that, but have our backs. That's what we want. We want these Corkies to rise
Mhm.
up.
Yes.
But them beehive, you right, them beehives. I can't even be a beehive. I'm not that loyal.
I'm not that loyal to any celebrity. That's like a whole nother
Yeah.
story. Like
I don't have that type of energy or dedication.
like loyalty to a person that you don't even know. Who doesn't know you?
Yeah. Whew. I'm loyal to cheesecake though.
Anything involving food, I'm loyal. Like I have like
Red
that.
velvet. If they ever take that red velvet off the menu though, I'm gonna disown them.
I mean, I'm infamous for having like restaurants that I go to where I know like waiters and like, people that, like the chefs and like because like I just feel like I'm very passionate about food. And so like I have a few places in my roster where I can go and I'm like, hey, like, yeah.
My friend knows some chefs.
And my husband's like, what? I'll tell you offline.
Okay, I'm just saying next time I come, to DC. I want to get some of this pretty privileged 5-star chef treatment. Okay.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're 5-star restaurants, but I'm just saying
No,
food.
I'm saying like you're the 5-star. I'm not talking about the restaurants. I'm so bottom of the barrel. I couldn't tell you and point out a 5-star restaurant versus another restaurant. I don't
I'm
know.
done.
I don't care. But here's my last little point. A 5-star restaurant can give you crappy service,
Mhm.
just like a 1-star restaurant, or a 1-star restaurant can give you the best service, give you the best whatever that item is that night, and it be just tasting amazing, and
Yeah,
vice versa.
yeah.
So I'm not hung up on prices or stars or whatever. Most of the places I've ate have come from word of mouth recommendations like, oh my gosh, you gotta try this place. Back home, like towards the end of me being there, I ate the majority of eating out came from food trucks.
Good food is good food.
Good, thank you. Food trucks and from Casa de la Heath, my brother.
But that's like some like 5-star food right there. So,
Okay, it is. Oh, and I want it and I miss it. Oh my God. Shout out the Casa de la Heath. Yes, Jesus. Yes. So that's my feelings.
well, Corkies, that is the end of episode 1 of season 5, and we will see you next time.